Hello there and welcome to another self-promotion, to say the very least. This is a self-promotion for another one of my books. This is The Four Friends, Volume 1. And in Volume 1 we see 4 short adventures featuring the characters Charlie, Brock, Spencer and Anna. Now, I'm only promoting this because, of course, well, why not? And also, this video may or may not be appropriate for this sort of promotion if you have younger ones, because this is a book for younger audiences. So I hope you buy a copy today, or at least pre-order whenever this gets released. Of course, it's released on the 5th of December 2025, and of course, if this video is before or after that time, it really depends, obviously. But regardless, I hope you enjoy the remainder of this video. This is just a very short, shameless promotion for my own stuff so you can give me more money. I mean, entertain yourselves with one of my products. Hello there and welcome to another edition of Unveiled. This time we're going to have a look at Extreme 1 Episode 3. I hope you enjoy. In the Italian dub of Extreme 1, the International Inferno is referred to as Divisione Internazionale. I don't know if I pronounced that right, I don't care. Meaning International Devastation. The same name was also applied to the translated version of the International Mayhem aired in Episode 6. This slightly suggests that the dub considered the International Inferno to be a mayhem battle of its own right, despite featuring 4 robots instead of the typical 3. The Italian version also misspells Flensburger Power's name as Flensburger Power, as in P-O-W-R-E, on the battle boards. Fluffy was one of only 10 robots to debut in Extreme 1, and then fight in one of the main competitions, not counting Typhoon. The others were Free Sex to Heaven, Axe Or, Commangetrix, Fighting Talk, Neat Machine, Spawn Again, Subversion, The Executioner, and Draven. While generally considered to be the pioneer of the modern bar spinner, Fluffy was not the first UK competitor to be armed with such a weapon. Series 3 competitor Hammertron featured similarly spinning hammer, though the significance of its own weapon was not acknowledged in its only appearance. Manta was the only robot in Extreme 1's International Inferno that did not have side skirts. In its official photo for Extreme Warriors Season 1/Extreme 1, Manta appeared to be dark grey rather than light grey. This is most likely due to unusually low lighting in the shoot. In June 2001, Maximil attended rehearsals for Dutch Series 1 in Eindhoven with an all-orange paint scheme and an invertible design similar to that we see in Extreme 1. Outdoor tests were conducted to showcase its adjustable flywheel weapon, which proved to be very capable in its actual appearance. It is highly possible that the Extreme 1 version of Maximil was invertible as well, as the top casters were connected to the main wheels, plus the height of the disc was adjustable so that it could still work if Maximil was put on its back. However, this has not been proven, and of course the rehearsal tape is of course an earlier build. The statistics listed for Maximil and Extreme were those that were used in the Dutch Series 1 entry rather than the Extreme 1 version. There is a slight difference. Behemoth and Panic Attack both appear in 2 battles in this episode, which is a rarity. Rather ironically, despite side skirts and a supposedly improved self-righter, Panic Attack's defeat to Firestorm is one of the quickest defeats in their rivalry history, and their previous match in Series 3 saw Panic Attack without skirts and a weaker self-righter free itself from the side wall, whereas here it was stuck. And that is it for today. Episode 3 of Extreme 1, in my opinion, is a step up from Episode 2. Episode 2 was rather lackluster, especially compared to Episode 1. Episode 3 at least elevates the standard a bit. I think the International Mayhem is a really good mayhem. It's complete and utter chaos. You know, the robots just get smashed to pieces. The 2 all-star fights are all great as well. The Firestorm victory against Panic Attack is very quick and very stylish, and I love the visual of it, like being pinned up against the sidewall. I think it's such a great visual, all things considered. It was a very pretty looking battle considering the lighting and everything. Behemoth versus Hypno-Disc was quite a shocker for a lot of people, but at the same time, this is obviously when Hypno-Disc starts to weaken up a bit, you know, compared to how it was in Series 4, where it was this unstoppable killing machine that really got stopped by luck, if you really think about it. Here, it's a lot more slower, it's a lot more methodical, it's not as effective, and you can see what happens when a robot is far more improved and is able to just push Hypno-Disc about. And that's what you get with the Behemoth fight, which is a very good fight, all things considered. A very good one. Probably one of the best All-Star fights in this first series of All-Stars. Or equally, I do enjoy the fight between Stinger and Behemoth. I love the way Behemoth hooks the axe and the scoop around Stinger in pits. It's such a great moment, all things considered. Again, the Mayhem is probably the weakest of the battles in this episode. It's just not very memorable, and there's not a lot to think about or remember. Like, Arnold winning is great. Arnold is the outlier in this melee. Fluffy, its debut was not the greatest. It just kind of died against the sidewall, and Wild Thing was just kind of average. And, I think that is easily the weakest match. When you consider that's one match out of all the other matches, this is a really solid heat. Like, everything about it is great. The fights are great. The robots utilized are great. I do think there is a lot of repetition. I've already used that fact about Panic Attack and Behemoth appearing twice in one episode. And as a result, you don't really get to see the diversity of robots. I do think they should have swapped some fights around in the series to prevent that, but nonetheless, I think this is a great episode. Solid episode, definitely better than the second episode of Extreme. But is it as strong as episode 1? I don't know. I think episode 1 was slightly stronger just because it had more consistency. But regardless, a great episode, and it really goes to show how good Extreme 1 really is. Let's have a look at what the randomizer chooses for us next time around. So rather ironically, the next episode I should say, is another Behemoth episode, this one being its debut. And it's also the debut of a very specific Crusher robot, someone who you may or may not know as Razor. Yes, Series 2 Heat D next time around, and it will be an interesting one, as it's the debut of quite a few famous faces. Nonetheless, hope you enjoyed this edition of Unveiled, and I'll see you next time around.